Welcome into another episode of Cardinals Plus. I'm Corey Miller here with Frank Cusumano. And Frank, the very first thing we got to talk about, so we've been talking about all year, Paul Goldschmidt just refuses to cool off. At the moment we're recording this episode, he's leading the National League in average, on-base, slugging percentage, OPS, OPS plus, hits, and total bases. I've never seen it. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody this hot before. Albert probably back in his prime.
He's the only one I could think of, too. And then when you have people like Nolan Arenado saying he's the best on the planet, and John Mozeliak said something like that a couple of days before, it's crazy. And there was a stretch, maybe at the beginning of last season, because he gets off to slow starts, where people started to wonder about his bat speed. Like, okay, 33, 34, starting to slow down. Well, we've stopped wondering.
Well, yeah, you mentioned that. He's 34. This is his fourth year. This is the guy, probably not fairly, but this is the guy Cardinals fans have been waiting for. He's always been good, but we've been expecting this.
Yeah, he's the guy. This is the guy that when Tony La Russa was asked about him when he first joined the Diamondbacks organization as a consultant or as assistant GM, he said he's the closest thing to Albert I've seen. And he is. And it's unbelievable that the two get to play together right now. And, you know, like Albert, great mentor too. Like Albert, maybe not great at talking about himself, but we'll talk about others.
That's true. Not the best soundbite in the world,
No.
but his play speaks for itself. I was actually just looking with our colleague Sam Clancy. The guys the Cardinals gave up for Paul Goldschmidt, it looks like even more of a steal now than it did then. Carson Kelly has been really bad this year. Luke Weaver has only pitched 8 innings and has like a 14 ERA, and the other guy is not even in the organization, I don't believe, anymore. Yeah, that looks like an amazing trade.
Yeah, yet we'll bring up John Mozeliak's bad trades and not forget about this one, which is like historically good.
The Arenado trade, the guys are also not performing. It looks like 2 crazy steals right now. Back to Goldschmidt. Looking like he's the front runner for MVP. Do you think he gets there right now as the first Cardinal MVP since Pujols in 09?
Well, I think he'd have to be the favorite right now, although Manny Machado can get smoking hot. And you also have to be concerned with Freddie Freeman and how good the Dodgers are. But right now, there's no doubt about it. He's the MVP.
Let's move on a little bit, talk about some standings. The Cardinals were in first for a brief moment in the Central over Milwaukee, and now it's kind of back and forth as we're recording this. They're a game back. I think that's what we're going to see the rest of the year, back and forth and back and forth. They both get to play those bad NL Central teams, so they'll both be able to inflate their wins there. But I think this is going to even out. Cardinals really good offense, Brewers really good pitching. We'll see how it turns out at the end.
Yeah, if Michaelis and Wainwright can be reasonably close to Woodruff and Burns, then you win. But if those guys are significantly better and you do have to give them the edge in the bullpen right now, Milwaukee's going to win. But I do think Wainwright and Michaelis can be really close with those two, but man, are they good. I mean, Woodruff comes back yesterday, strikes out 10 and 5. We've seen how dominating Burns is. And we know about Josh Hader. So.
Should be fun down the stretch. This is going to kind of go into our next thing. We're about a month away from the trade deadline. You just talked to Mike Gersh today, Cardinals GM. The Cardinals can't do nothing, I don't think. They can't afford to do nothing, but maybe they know they had a playoff spot and that's good enough for them. What's kind of the vibe you're getting?
Well, I think some years they've taken the attitude, all right, let's be good enough to get into the dance and we'll settle for that. But now, when you have 2 cornerstone franchise players, one's a for sure Hall of Famer in Arenado, and one who knows what happens with Goldschmidt, you can't be thinking about just winning the division. You have to be thinking about winning it all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at duos in Major League Baseball, who would you rather have than those two? So you can't acquire 39-year-old pitchers at the trade deadline to help your team win. You have to acquire somebody really special. And Mike Gersh didn't say exactly what they're going to do, but I get the impression is they can be more aggressive now than they ever have.
2 guys in their prime you just mentioned, and at least 2 guys, maybe 3, although Wainwright's coming back, I'm almost positive. Pujols and Molina whenever he comes back. In their last ride, you feel like you got to go out. This feels like that you go all in and get what you need to get, especially when there are a lot of questions. Steven Matz coming back from injury. Jordan Hicks coming back from injury. Jack Flaherty, who knows what that's going to be like. So there are a lot of question marks still that you could fill in.
Yeah. absolutely. And I don't think it can be like they did last year, bringing in a 39-year-old John Lester. You got to get somebody. Look, you can do this now because you have so many hitters. You got so many guys at AA, so many guys at AAA, so many guys in the major leagues. You can't play them all. You can only play 9 hitters a night, so they can move one of those guys. Now, the question is, who's it going to be?
Did Gersh give you anything about if they're willing to trade from that stash of prospects?
Yeah, he knows that they have a surplus in one spot and a shortage in the other, and they're going to have to, eventually address that. But the question is, who? I'm telling you, I just watched Dylan Carlson take batting practice, and I've been saying, boy, I don't want to give up Tyler O'Neill. He's so special. But then I watched this guy take BP. I think, oh my goodness, I don't want to give up him either. So it's going to have to be one of probably the really great prospects in AA or AAA.
Yeah. Let's move on, talk more about what's coming up here in a couple weeks. The All-Star Game, we talked about this last episode. Cardinals have some worthy candidates. Paul Goldschmidt's a shoo-in. He's in that top spot in the National League at first base. Arenado's in second. I can't believe Tommy Edman, I'm pretty sure, is still in fourth in the shortstop voting. And he has the highest WAR in all of baseball, according to Baseball Reference, and he can't get on the All-Star team. I think he's going to be overlooked, and that's a shame.
Well, it depends how many Cardinals they can take.
Yes.
Because you're probably going to take Albert. You may take Michaelis. There's a shot. I mean, if Ryan Helsley's ERA is .30 at the break, how do you not take him? I mean, you can't take 7 or,
No.
So Edman may be out of luck there, but he deserves to be there.
He does for sure. Yeah, I would say Goldie's going to be there. I think Arenado So what they do now is kind of weird. The top 2 guys after this first round, you have to vote again just between the top 2. So
if you win the general vote, you have to win another vote?
Yeah, it's really convoluted. The top vote getter in both leagues automatically gets a spot, and then if that player isn't in that position that got a spot, the top 2 in the position go to a runoff.
Okay.
So it could be Arenado versus Machado for third base, and if Cardinals fans show up and decide to vote, they could get him in a starting spot pretty easily.
They likely will be more Cardinal fans voting than Padres fans.
Bryce Harper is injured at the DH spot, so that could make it easier to get Albert on there too now.
Yeah. Well, they should just add a spot.
Albert
should not take away from some great player having a great season. Let him go there, take a bow, maybe an at-bat in the ninth, but he's got to be there.
Okay, we've talked about this a lot just in the sports office. When everybody's healthy, you even had a tweet about it the other day. When everybody's healthy, what does your Cardinals lineup look like? When O'Neill's back, who do you sit? Donovan, Yepez? It's going to be a hard call, but who's out?
I would sit Bader. I mean, when Tyler O'Neill is back, I'd play Tyler O'Neill left, Carlson center, and then Donovan in right, and Yepez is your DH.
Gorman at second.
Yeah. I mean, I know that there's a great stat about Harrison Bader, and they're 23 games over 500 with him, and maybe 3 games below 500 without him last year. But gosh, if Yepez is a thumper like this, and you know that Carlson can play a great center field, and I really believe that when Tyler O'Neill comes back, I just saw him 2 hours ago, he looks great, he's going to be ready. I think Bader could be the odd guy out.
Possibly trade?
Maybe. I'm not sure his value as opposed to the others, but he's a good player, though. He really is. It's just the Cardinals have too many of them.
Yeah. So it's not a bad problem to have. For this episode's Down on the Farm segment, I actually went down on the farm to Springfield to talk to Jordan Walker and Mason Winn about their friendship and how they see themselves in St. Louis together in the future.
Cheer. Hammer deep to left field. Jordan Walker ends this ball game. Long gone to left. A 2-run home run.
And welcome back. With the arrival of players like Brendan Donovan and Nolan Gorman this season, we've seen just how strong the Cardinals' prospect pipeline is. And down in AA, there's another top prospect duo that has big plans of their own for this franchise. Our Corey Miller went to Springfield for this week's Spotlight story on the phenomenal friendship of Jordan Walker and Mason Winn.
The 1-0 for Walker, hit hard to deep right center field, going back on it, Marlowe at the wall, that's gone!
If you know any current Cardinals minor league prospect, it's probably this guy, and for good reason. Jordan Walker is tearing up AA pitching, hitting .311 with a .911 OPS in 54 games. MLB.com has him ranked as the 25th best prospect in baseball. Just don't tell him that.
I try not to look at that stuff too much, to be honest. you know, just we were kind of getting in my head a little bit too much, so I try to not look at that stuff. I do see some things.
The 20-year-old spent some time with the big league club this spring and said it helped him start to think like a big leaguer.
They would be joking around with the guys, but when they're in that cage, they're locked in, or when they're on the field, they're locked in. They all knew what they needed to do to get ready. They all knew how it's supposed to go, like how they're supposed to go out their work. And I feel like seeing that really gave me a clear idea of, oh, this is what it takes to be a big leaguer.
This 6'5", 220-pound third baseman takes up a lot of real estate on the left side of the Hammonds Field infield, but now he's sharing that left side with one of his best friends.
1-2, a jam shot floater into shallow left. Winn going out. He makes the grab.
Mason Winn is currently rated as the number 5 prospect in the Cardinals system for plays like that and what he can do with the bat. Winn is hitting .315 between Peoria and Springfield this season with 16 stolen bases. And he's been working on his defense with the best in the business, Jose Oquendo.
At first, it was really tough love. It was, you know, he was like the first real coach that was hard on me in pro ball, and it was tough to get used to. And then, you know, now it's just really a good bond. You know, he comes out here and we get work in. He tells me what I need to know and what I don't.
Winn was originally drafted as a two-way player, but the organization has decided to utilize his rocket arm at shortstop instead of on the mound.
I think if we see me on the mound again, I think it's probably because I didn't hit the best. So I'm hoping we don't go back there, but. You know, maybe in the future, like a little Yachty, Albert Pujols type thing, you know, getting on there later, but.
Walker and Winn were both part of the 2020 draft class and have known each other longer than that. But let's just say it wasn't quite the fairy tale friendship at first.
I met him first time at a prospect event in high school. I was like, man, this dude's a weirdo. To be honest, I was like, but then as soon as, you know, we got to the alt-site, we clicked together. I was like, he's not so bad. But my first impression of him was that, yeah, he was a clown, and he still is a clown, but he's a good dude, and I'm excited to play next to him.
But now the top prospect pair are inseparable. They're roommates in Springfield and have some glowing scouting reports of each other.
If you're gonna pitch to him, I think you gotta be perfect, and even if you are perfect, I think you gotta hope for a little bit of luck. Honestly, just because I think he'll hit anything really. I mean, you think you can sneak a high fastball by him, and he'll just do what he did last night and walk it off. So, I mean, I personally wouldn't know what to throw to him, and I'm very confident on the mound. I wouldn't know what to throw to him.
His arm definitely does stick out, but if you see BP, he has some power with him too. People just don't really think or he would have any, but once he gets into a ball, it will go really far. So I think that's a little sneaky, you know, dark horse tool of his, but he's like an all-around guy. He can hit, field, obviously great arm, really fast, but I think a little sneaky tool that he does have is power, and that people don't know about too well.
If Winn did end up pitching to him, though, Walker has an idea of how that would go.
Oh, that's a home run. Absolutely. We talk about this all the time. I would definitely take him deep, and I've been wanting to face him ever since. But, I mean, in all honesty, it would definitely be a tough at-bat. You know, we joke around all the time, but it would definitely be a tough at-bat. But I feel like I can get the best of him for sure.
And although it may be a little while until they bring their talents here to Busch Stadium, Walker and Winn are not shy about their goals. And they know that continuing to climb the system together will only make their journey more special.
I think it would be something really fun to watch, you know. It's like Yachty and Pujols coming up and playing so long together, and Waino. You know, I think me and Jordan coming up through the ranks together, he's a little bit ahead of me, but, you know, I think in the long run we'll have a lot of games together under our belt, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch for the fans, and it'll be a lot of fun to play too.
Truly special, man. He's a great dude, and he's a really good friend. So traveling up the system with him, that would be a dream of mine come true. And then hitting the league with him, that would just be something different, something super special.
From Springfield for Sports Plus, I'm Corey Miller.
That will do it for this episode of Cardinals Plus. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.